Welcome to another wonderful episode of The Untold, the show where we uncover what's happening under the surface of people's lives. I'm your host, الإيميل.
And of course, I'm your host, Abdullah Al-Hindiani. And today, Lujain, we have Badriya Albloushi, who's an amazing singer. She's also, as we're told by our production team, is in a very unique, I would say, musical field, which is symphony metal, symphony rock, something like that. I'm so curious to sit down and talk all about, this amazing field.
As am I. I think she said it was symphonic metal, which is a really niche genre. I'm so curious how she brought these two worlds together and what it would sound like, because it sounds like it could be extremely epic. And I do think that she's someone from humble beginnings who was really working her way to become a really great singer. And I can't wait to see what she has to tell us about it.
It is, when you put it like that, it puts the image of Beethoven with an electric guitar in my mind. So I'm gonna take a break and come back after the break with Badriya. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on The Untold. And I do want to welcome you all for tuning in. But most importantly, I want to welcome you, Badriya Albloushi, for being today's guest on The Untold. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's so wonderful to have you. And I heard that you're a singer. And I wanted to ask you, where did that all begin? How did it start?
Well, I've always been interested in music, but I never knew that singing was something you can work on. I thought it was a talent that you're born with. But thankfully, in university, I entered the music club as a pianist. And we had a vocal workshop, and I joined, and I realized, oh, you can actually work on your voice. And so the rest is history. I found a teacher, and she guided me to this day.
MashaAllah. So would you say your passion for singing and music in general, got you early in your career, or is it something you caught on once you got more into it, once you understood it, once you found it, yourself within it?
At first, I was a bit lost, and I didn't know if this was going to be a career. I don't even know if it's a career right now, but I'm still making it because I enjoy it. It's not because I find something out of it. It's because I enjoy.
I feel like that's where most people's, actual talents or futures lies with and stuff that they actually enjoy. So it's really great that you've managed to choose your passion and kind of follow it. And I'm really curious because you said that, you didn't think you were that good at singing to begin with. You just entered a class and you learned that you could kind of train your voice. So how does that work exactly? Because I also thought that singing was kind of something you were born with. I didn't think you could work on it.
So the teacher just started with the piano, and he started labeling all the students based on their vocal range and how high they can go. I was on the higher side of the scale, so I was labeled a soprano, and that's how I was categorized, and that's how I was able to train. Even with my teacher, when I told her I'm a soprano, she was able to help me and see where my voice excels.
For those of us who are not very familiar with a lot of these terms that are within the singing, because for me, someone who's much a simpleton who just listens to music, I don't really have an idea what sopranos is, what I assume there are some other types. So could you elaborate a little bit on those?
Yeah, a soprano would be on the higher scale, and alto soprano can do the mid scale to the higher scale.
So is the scale, do you mean the tone of the voice itself?
In the piano, like higher.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Or like a bass. You know how a bass guitar is very deep?
Deep, yeah.
So, yeah, that's also a scale of voice.
So do you think that anybody can learn how to sing? Or do you kind of have to have a bit of talent to begin with?
I think so. I think anybody can learn to sing unless there's a fundamental vocal problem, either like cancer or something like that, But yeah, anybody I think is able to sing.
Abdullah, it seems like we might have a shot at this if we try.
I think, I don't mean to disagree with the profession, but I've seen enough Hollywood actors who try singing and they sound so bad at it. So I'm like, maybe there are some people that are good at it.
It has to, you have to have the passion as well.
Right.
If you don't have the passion, it will show.
But then again, how did you, I know you've had your passion, you've taken your studies, you've taken everything, but how did you find your unique, I don't want to say voice because that's a pun, but how did you find your unique voice within all of this?
I mean, I think I'm still finding it, to be honest. I I didn't start too long ago. This is all very, very new to me.
MashaAllah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm still finding my voice.
So, what was your kind of first breakthrough as an artist or in your career singing wise?
I still don't have a big breakthrough, but I think releasing my first song was a huge step for me.
I mean, that sounds like a big breakthrough to me.
I think it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But I feel like because of this first song, I want to work more now. I have a lot more planned in the future. But yeah, I never thought I was gonna release a song. I never thought I would get this far.
I mean, that's always one of the biggest steps people can take, right? Because a lot of people, they may love to sing, they may have ideas, but they never take that step to make it into a physical thing, other people can hear and listen to. So the fact that you took that step, it's a major milestone. I do want to go back to just a little bit of point, out of personal curiosity. We've gotten into a little bit of the talent and then the work itself. How much would you say is, when it comes to singing, is natural talent as opposed to some people who just develop it or study it or improve upon it?
I think it's a mix of both. I mean, the talent has to do a lot with passion. I feel like if you really, really want it and you want to make it happen, I think then you would be forced to go through the long route of working for it. So yeah, I think it's balanced 50-50.
I mean, it is hard work. Breaking into any career, especially in the arts, where there's a lot of competition, I feel, you have to really want it, right?
Yes.
Do you find yourself having to always work to improve your voice and performance?
Yeah, 100% to this day. Yeah.
How do you do that?
I still do it. I still meet with my teacher on a weekly basis. I had a lesson with her yesterday, actually. And I'm working on something new. And yeah, I still do vocal exercises every single week. I did take a break for a whole month recently. I was in Japan.
Amazing.
And then I got stuck in Japan.
Oh no.
Because of the whole situation. But when I came back and I went back to singing, my voice felt rusty. I was like, okay, I need to get back to it. But with the exercises, I was able.
I guess it's really like an instrument. You have to keep practicing. Otherwise, you can kind of lose it a little bit, but it never goes away. But it's a tool, it's an instrument.
It's an instrument as well as a muscle that you have to keep exercising. So imagine not working out for a long time.
Yeah, I never would have thought of it like that, but that does make so much sense.
It is, honestly, like you say, you never think about, your voice and how much you can control it or lose it if you're not using it. So to see, singers actively, improving it with exercise and everything really puts into perspective how complex the human biology is.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I do want to ask you about something, because you are singing in a very unique genre, I'd say. So do you have like certain influences, maybe favorite bands or singers, either before or now, or
So before I always interested in rock. So I started with Avenged Sevenfold, these famous bands. Then I started to really get into symphonic metal. This is my inspiration, and big bands such as Epica, Nightwish are a major source of inspiration for me, and I highly recommend listening to them.
I mean, we spoke a bit behind the scenes about how you chose to do symphonic metal as the kind of genre you sing in. So could you tell me a bit more about that?
It's a very interesting genre for me because metal is very rough, rough guitars, rough instruments, electric guitar, and then you have the symphonic aspect of it, which combines orchestra and opera, and when you mix them together, it creates a perfect harmony. So I think that's why it's my favorite genre.
I mean, it's so cool that you chose this as the kind of music you want to sing, and I guess it goes back to your interest in the kind of music you like. But it just sounds so cool to me, when someone says symphonic metal, it sounds like not something you would hear about every day, not when people are doing this. especially in Kuwait. So I think that's really great that you've tried this kind of new thing almost.
I would like people to be interested in it, and I'm bringing more light into it. It's an interesting genre.
It sounds amazing.
It is, honestly, it sounds really interesting, especially for someone like me, because in my younger days, I used to listen to rock all the time. You know, from like you said, all the famous ones, Evanescence, Linkin Park, Breaking Benjamin, going all the way back. And then one of the doctors told me, you have tinnitus. And that's when I was like, okay, no more rock music for me. So my later years, I turned into listening to a lot of smoother classical, genres. So to see, a musical genre that blends the two, which are, to me, before this, they look completely far apart, right? The classical, the symphony part, and then the rock part. And then to see the combination of them, I'm really, curious, and I'm definitely going to listen to the recommendation you go and put forth. But I want to ask you, how did you stumble upon this genre? Because as someone like me who has been listening to music for maybe 20 years now, this is an entirely new genre to me. So how did you stumble upon it?
Well, it was my husband.
MashaAllah.
He makes music as well, and he stumbled upon them on Apple Music, and because it's based on his what he listens to and something new that was recommended by Apple Music. So he shared the song with me, and now I'm more of a fan than he is.
Well, so much so that you became a singer in it, you know?
Yes, exactly.
What kind of music does your husband do?
Mostly for soundtracks. Dark Souls, the game?
Yeah, the game?
Yeah, so it's inspired by that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much going on behind the scenes here where so much inspiration can be drawn. I do want to ask you though, because obviously picking a career in the arts or music is not an easy path to go down. Did you find that you had a lot of support in the beginning, or was it, did people not really believe this is what you should be doing?
No support at all.
Aw.
Uh, I think many people can relate to this as musicians. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of support, but my biggest support was my teacher. She's the one who pushed me. She's like, you have to make music. You have the voice. You have to go out and do something with it. Or else I was just gonna keep it as a hobby. It's still somewhat of a hobby, but I like where it's heading.
I mean, it's really cool that you got a teacher who's willing to support your dreams so much to the point that you actually went and did something about it. I mean, we have to always like say thank you to those kind of teachers because they really get students a long way.
It is, honestly, sometimes you stumble upon stories where teachers, I would say influenced an entire, life of a single student, and it always brings warmth to your heart, right? If you know that there are teachers like that in school. So we do want to send a very special thank you, but also thank you for pursuing such a really unique, perspective on music, I would say.
Yeah, and I want to thank my teacher. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you, Alexandra. Speaking of your voice, do you find that it's changed over time, or does it kind of stay the same?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I can even improve even more.
Wow.
But I'm listening back to when I didn't even have a teacher. My technique was off. Yeah, there's certain techniques, and yeah, it's improved, and I think I can even go further.
I mean, considering that you probably have a very, considering that you probably have a very, bright future ahead of you, I can only imagine how much
Inshallah.
better it will get, inshallah. Like, I do see that though.
Yeah, honestly, the thing about music is that it's such an ever-evolving, I would say field of artistry, right? You never know what's next. But we do know what's next is that we are going to take a very quick break. We'll come right back after this one.
And we're back from that short break. So Badriya, we were talking about, your journey into becoming a musician. And I am so interested in your genre of symphonic metal. I do want to ask you though, like, how does it work? Do you work with a band or what do you do exactly?
I work with a composer based in Switzerland. His name is Vladios, and yeah, it works perfectly, me and him.
Does it require a lot of communication between the two of you?
I think he understands exactly what I want. So when I say what I want, he sends me some pieces, and yeah, it's perfect communication, and
It's
that's
good.
how it works.
It's a good communication, but how do you know what you want, right? So now you have an idea, you have something to sing about. Like, how do you find the voice? How do you find the emotions? How do you find the thoughts?
So before I contact him, I'm a graphic designer, so I know how to make briefs. And before I send it to him, I create like as if I'm making a design brief, but instead of design, it's music. And so, yeah, it pretty much works like that. And I attach some inspiration videos or songs, and obviously the lyrics that I wrote. And I share it with him and I say, hey, I want this, 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 and then he would send me something and we'd work from that.
I mean, it's really cool that you guys have that kind of cohesion with each other, that it kind of works as a kind of symbiotic relationship to make
Yes.
the music happen. I
Yes.
feel like that's really cool. And it's not something everyone can kind of get off the bat. Sometimes it's a big struggle to kind of find the right people to work with who share your vision. How do you decide what kind of emotions to put into your music?
In the beginning, I was so scared to sing, but over time, my teacher taught me how to express in music, because it's just like acting. It's like a performance. So you have to portray what the song is supposed to give. So if it's a sad song, I do know how to portray sadness. If it's a happy song, I know how to portray happiness. So yeah, it really depends on the song. It's not just one emotion for all of them.
MashaAllah.
I never considered that it's also like acting. You have to perform a song also as if you're an actress, kind of get the sadness out, the happiness out. Because even if you're not feeling that emotion in that moment, you have to kind of portray it when you sing, right?
Yes.
It sounds so hard.
It does. It sounds extremely impossible, for someone like me who has one voice, whether I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm like, okay,
It's a special skill.
yeah, what is this wizardry?
I used to be like that. I
Yeah.
used to be very robotic, but yeah, it was learned.
And speaking of learned, I do want to ask you about something. So I think they say that, your internal voice and the voice that you're speaking of is not your actual voice. It's just because you've listened to yourself for so many times, so your brain subconsciously removes some sound waves, whatever. I think I'm butchering a lot of that, but the idea is that when we're recording ourselves, that's our true voices. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, is that how I sound on phone? So when it comes to you singers who are so in tune with your voice, how do you gauge, right, your voice with the difference, right, between the one you're hearing and the one that's actually on the recording?
Sometimes, I would say.
Does it affect how you sing the music at all?
I have to record myself sometimes to see how I sound, which helps me improve on things. So if I don't like how it sounds, I can tell, wait, I need to work on this technique, it's off.
What kind of techniques do you usually use?
It's a warm-up, and I have to, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but I have to let my voice out through my front teeth. So
I don't think we out.
Yeah.
So because I can't sing with my throat. Now I'm speaking with my throat. But if I need to sing, I need to sing with my upper mouth, if that makes sense, like this side. And so I expose the sound through here. So like that. I don't know if
I
that
think the
makes
sorcery is beyond us a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can explain it better than
I
this.
think I know kind of what you mean, because I watched a movie a long time about these kids who went to a music school to sing and do other musical things. And he was constantly explaining to the girl that you're singing in the wrong way. You got to sing from inside here, not from your voice or something.
Yes.
So I guess it goes back to how the human body works and how you can train yourself to sound better than you actually do, or to get your voice to a point where it sounds like a professional singing.
Yeah. I mean, some professors use it if they're gonna speak all day, they can lose their voice if they're gonna be speaking from their voice, like from their throat. So they try to speak from their jaw or their head, like
Yeah.
the head voice.
Wow.
This actually does remind me of a story that I've heard, and now it kind of makes sense. Freddie Mercury, I think it was called Mercury, right? The
The
singer.
movie?
No, the singer from Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had I think a dislocated front tooth or something, and then one of the doctors told him that you can have the operation for you to fix it, but it's gonna change to your voice. So that's why he kept, his tooth shape all the way until he died, because he wanted to keep his voice. So I've heard that story and I've read that story before, but it never made sense until you said that you have to take
Oh,
the
I didn't know
airwaves through the front teeth or something. There's a technique to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a technique, but I didn't know about Freddie Mercury's story.
Yeah, he didn't
It's
have operation to
interesting.
fix his teeth because they told him it's gonna alter the way your voice basically comes out.
I would understand his decision.
I feel like, yeah, now we all understand his decision.
Yeah.
That's something new, and it's something I hope everyone's learned about now. I think I'm gonna go home and try to practice singing through my teeth. I don't know if it will actually work or not, but the idea is there. I did want to ask you as well, though, because obviously it's really difficult to be a musician, especially in modern times. So what kind of challenges do you face navigating the music industry these days?
I think there's a lot of struggles, endless. I mean, we'll stay here all night if I'm gonna say literally all of them. But the biggest one I'm facing right now is finding a place to perform live. I would love to perform more live sessions. I've only performed twice before, so yeah, this is the biggest struggle right now.
Well, I think in Schweich they have, I've heard of several places that have open mic days, but I'm not sure about the specific names. I believe we've also had a guest here before
Oh yeah, I think
that hosted a lot of those events.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you definitely could look into that. We do have open mics. I mean, I know that for certain in Kuwait, 100%.
Okay.
But the names of the places themselves it's a little bit eluding me right now.
I'll check it out actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll slip you some names later also about previous guests we've had who are interested in this kind of thing, because I feel like nowadays the art scene in Kuwait has really come alive compared to before, and people are really trying to find places where like-minded people can come together. I do want to ask you also, do you think that social media is helping or hindering this situation?
Social media is helping, but also there's a lot of competition out there. So it's again 50-50, you know.
It's always a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It is. And the thing about social media now is that you never know what's real or what's not real, right? And you're constantly putting, or I'd say comparing yourself to people who are using so many stuff that it's not their voice anymore, but there's just no way to authenticate it. So it always feels like an uphill battle.
Yeah, especially with AI nowadays and the content creation with AI. You don't know if it's real, you don't know if they're doing something or it's AI speaking. Yeah.
How do you feel about the onset of AI in terms of the music industry?
I'm not a big hater, but also there's many downhills of it. I mean, yeah, people are making music with AI. The people have actually suggested that I enter this website and say, hey, like use this and make music out of it. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it's better. There's something to be said about the authentic human voice or human touch that can't ever be replaced, in my opinion. And it is kind of scary to me nowadays because the AI keeps improving. So there's a lot of even musics that are using the voices of actual famous artists and making it seem like this is their song or in completely different genres. And who knows where we're going with that.
I mean, it's a useful tool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's not, but it also has its downsides.
It is. I mean, for me, when it comes to singing, I think, the use of AI, you can use it to have the music itself, but, have the people actually sing, do the music itself, right? I think that's a good balance, a very healthy balance between that equation.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so what motivates you to keep this going? Because it's, as we said, it's not an easy kind of career. So on days that passion isn't enough, what keeps you going?
Yeah, passion, it doesn't come easy. Yeah. But it's my routine. I'm a very routine person. I have to like tick off my to-do list, and that keeps me going. So every day I say like practice this song, practice that song. Do some warm-ups, and when I do that, it keeps me going. So discipline.
Yeah, they always say discipline beats motivation, and I think that's always the best approach to whatever you're taking. Speaking of which, what are you going to be taking next, right? Whether it's a musical genre, landscapes, however it may be.
I am working on my first album actually right now, but in very early stages. So we finished one song and I'm about to record my second one. But because this is a two-person job, it's only me and the composer. Yeah, but this is what I'm focused on next, and of course improving my voice.
Do you think it's actually easier or harder, the fact that it's just two people?
Right, for now, this is what I need. I think if I have too many people right now, I'd be very overwhelmed.
Yeah, I feel like I would be too. I feel like it's easier to just keep the vision and the goals, and also if you're very disciplined and structured, to have someone to have many people to kind of shepherd around or get
Yeah.
in the same time at the same spot. I struggle that with just getting my friends together one day to hang out, you
Exactly,
know? So I can't
yeah.
imagine for something more legitimate like
Yes.
this, you know?
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're essentially being the role of a producer, right? So because of everything you've said, you're sending the ideas, the lyrics, the shape of the song, the emotions, and then the actual singing. So you're effectively being the producer.
I guess so.
Yeah. So with that being said, I do want to give you the producer hat and tell you, what is going to be your dream project outside of this, album you're making.
I guess I would like to be like a full-time singer, touring. I get this is just a dream, obviously, but yeah, I think so.
I mean, you've already made it come this far by creating one song that's out there and on your way to an album. So, inshallah, you will get to that
Inshallah.
level.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Do you find that this whole journey has changed you as a person?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
more confident. I was very shy. No, I was very, very shy. But I'm more out of my shell. Uh, I mean, even with my teacher, because I meet with her online, she's Polish. She had, in the beginning, she used to have to turn off her camera so that I can perform,
Oh,
so that I don't see her reaction. But no, now I've performed live. I released a song. I'm more confident in speaking.
That's always great to hear, right? Whenever you overcome that fear threshold, it opens so many boundaries and so many doors and opportunities. With that being said, we do want to thank you for being our guest here at the Untold, but unfortunately, that's the runtime for our show.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
honestly, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I really look forward to see what you have coming up next.
Inshallah. Thank you.
With that, we are going on a quick break. And we're back. And honestly, Abdullah, that was an amazing episode. I love talking to Badriya. She was so sweet. The way that she talked about how singing isn't an innate talent, but something that you can work on and then actually create as a career was really enlightening to me.
It is, honestly, and the thing about this episode is that for me, it was very educational because I didn't know how much biology goes into singing.
Yeah, when she said about the teeth, that really threw us.
It is, yeah, because honestly, I just thought someone is born either they have the voice or they don't have the voice, and if they have the voice, they just improve upon it, right? I didn't know the intricacies of how much workouts come into exercises, rules, foundations. There are scales for it, so a lot of things were very instructional, especially for me in this episode.
Yeah, it's not all just talent. There's a lot of technique, a lot of hard work, and mashallah, I think she really is trying and really covering all that. And I'm really curious to see where her music has to go and what journey she will take.
We do wish her the best, after this episode, after this conversation. I think I'm going to go and have some falsetto, educations for me, take some classes within that to learn more about it. With that being said, Lujain, that's it, the time from us here, the team of The Untold. Until next episode, goodbye for now.
Goodbye and see you next time.